have this new experience with you. I've already been doing some clearing work since we've been on the call, opening space, harmonizing our energies with each other, clearing whatever might be congesting the flow of love and grace and goodness between us and in general. I've been on a spiritual path since I was a little girl. I had my first experience when I was 7. And that one experience set me off on world travels, looking for God, looking for spirit, looking how to find my connection in an authentic way. I was always repelled by dogma. So I had a Christ experience, Jesus Christ visitation, I guess, when I was 7, and that's what it was. And then I set out to try to find that same energy in religions, and I didn't find it anywhere. And then I found nature was my biggest and strongest guide since I was little. So I would retreat to the lake. I'm born in Ontario, Ajax, Ontario, lived there. So I would hightail it to the lake whenever I needed some guidance or support. So the foundation of my work is connecting to nature and connecting to how nature reflects our true nature and our capacity to be resilient, to be creative in recreating ourselves after trauma or during trauma. How do we find our way through? I've studied with many different teachers, from movement therapy to body-centered psychotherapy, massage techniques, to shamanic elders in Peru and Hawaii. And all of these journeys, they gave me little pieces. And when I found Hawaii, I guess it's 13 years ago now, all those pieces came together. So that's why Hawaii is at the forefront of what I do. I found everything reflected in my heart there that I always felt was true since I was a little girl. So as soon as I felt my little girl awaken and happy, I said that there's truth there, because our child self knows. Whatever opens and warms us, we know there's truth there. And that's a way that we can viscerally tune in. When our minds get entangled with fears and stories, our bodies tend to contract, and our child self, our subconscious, will retreat. Whereas truth and love will open. It'll expand us. It will create a warmth. And that's the measure system that I use when I'm going through stuff. And right now, there's a lot of stuff going on. Fear is the common energy on the collective, right? And so one of the things that I want to share today is a breath work that I do with my clients, and it's integrating the heart math technique, which I'm a coach for, and the Hawaiian breath work. And that combination seems to really help my guests, my clients, to find themselves and get into their body. Because when we're in fear and anxiety, as you all I'm sure know, we aren't home. And then we're actually more vulnerable in that state than if we are gaining our conscious control and direction of our energies. So I'm going to do a breath work with you to start, so we get on the same page and the same frequency, even more so. And so this breath work is with the heart math technique. You breathe in for 5 seconds and you pause at the top, and then you breathe out for 5 seconds. So we're creating a rhythm where it's the same time inhale, same time exhale. The additions that I have to that is the Hawaiian ha breath. We exhale with a ha, similar to what you were sharing already, Kathy, right? So we're really doing a, and then ha. And we're going to do, I don't know how many breaths. We're just going to follow it until the feeling is right to carry on. With this breath, the importance of a locked jaw and deep breath is it gives us access to our nervous system to decompress and enter the parasympathetic nervous system versus the fight or flight. So when we're stressed, we clench our jaw and we tighten our belly.
Would you like them to be unmuted so you can hear them, or not?
Yeah, we can all sync our breath once we start it. Yeah, that can be a beautiful experience at all of our breaths. Yeah, that's a beautiful experience. Yeah, right. And so what happens when we're stressed in our biology is the limbic system gets activated, and our neocortex, which is where we carry all of our higher understanding, our higher wisdoms, our higher perceptions, it shuts down. It's like a blackout. And so the work in those stressful moments is, well, how do I prevent the blackout? How do I keep the lights on? in my frontal neocortex? How do I keep hydro going? So I can still see enough so I can navigate this denser, darker territory I'm entering of fear and whatever old traumas it may be bringing to the surface, which is happening for a lot of people right now. You know, our sense of security and safety is just like out the window, right? And we're being faced with the fact that we only really do have the moment, right? So this virus is really only bringing home a truth that's always been there, but we've sort of been in a trance and a little bit numb to the truth of that. We have this idea, oh, the next moment's always going to come, right? And even though, you know, in our minds we know, but biologically we don't. We haven't really registered that, and that's why we're not in the now, right? We need to be present. And so this illness, this virus, for me, is bringing a reset for us to land in our bodies again, to land in the moment. And the breath is one of the best ways that we can help ourselves do that. And what I love about the breath is I have it with me 24/7. I don't have to pay somebody for it. It's not a tool, you know, like many years ago when I was learning with a Peruvian shaman, I had my crystals and everything, and I would panic if I didn't have my crystals with me and something happened, right? And then one day I went, wait a second, this doesn't work. I need to be able to be self-sufficient no matter where I am and what moment I am. And these beautiful tools and crystals and tarot and all of these things are beautiful and wonderful and useful, but I really need to be able to self-align myself without an external source helping me to do so. And so the breath work is one of the best ways to do it. And it's always with us, right? The other thing is our focus. In Hawaii, the term is makia. Where attention goes, energy flows. And that's the reality that grows. So while we're doing this breath work, I want you to tune into your body and feel where you're holding fear. Because as we breathe, your nervous system is going to start unwinding and relaxing. It's going to create space for movements, internal movements of energy to rise and come forward. That's the beauty of breath. But that's why we hold our breath when we're stressed, because we're afraid of those emotions. We're afraid we might not survive what comes up, right? So, but if we keep breathing through these moments of stress and anxiety and fear, eventually we affect our chemistry, which then releases the happy, healing, healthy endorphins and hormones. And then we're helping our body to access what it needs in that moment to get us through, right? Because if I stay stuck with my negative experience and I keep focusing on it and I don't bring in the light, what's going to happen? I'm going to drown. Right? So it's not about negating the fear. We want to go into it. We want to lean into it. We're not avoiding it here. A lot of spiritual practices say, oh, just put it aside, overcome it, paste over it, do something like that. But you're not invited to really go in. So here I'm inviting you to really go into the fear, into the feelings that you have, but go in with awareness and your breath, and then also with your focus. And the focus is tuning into the eternal oneness of all of nature. We are one, there's no doubt about that, and there are natural resources of love available to us every second. But we forget, we disconnect, and then that's when things get worse, and that's when things get harder. So what this breath work is about to do, and if you continue with this, it's about strengthening that inner connection so that you can connect to it like that. So it's no longer an effort. You can see yourself falling and boom, you can bring yourself just through one single breath. You're creating that new tack. You know, it's like in a boat when you're on the water, you know, you have your direction. But if you just shift it 0.00001%, you don't notice it right away, but it leads you to a totally different destination. And so what we want to do is access our biology's capacity to help us do that. You know, I'm a very spiritual person too. I'm into all this ascension stuff as well. But what I found is missing is our understanding of our biology, right? And how we can do things to affect our biology, to help us with our ascension, to help us stay connected to those higher frequencies. Because I know what used to happen for me, I would have these great enlightening experiences, and then 2 days later, I'd be down in the abyss again. I'm like, what happened? How? Why? I just had all these epiphanies. I just had all this great insight, and I felt it, and I knew it was real. How did I fall? Right? And it's important to understand it takes a while for our biology to integrate that energy.
Right.
Right? And then also, what I find is true is that when the light goes on, it puts the lights on in the places that still carry shadow. And so, yes, my light went on and my insights were real, but then they're bringing, light into these other shadow areas. So I observed that whenever there's a light experience, it will always be followed by a shadow. And I used to be discouraged by that. But when I understood, no, this is evidence that that light was real, that that insight was real. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't move anything.
Right.
Nothing would come to the surface if it wasn't genuine. Because one of the other ways we block ourselves with our attention, man, I already know this. I should be able to, right? We have this self-judgment. And especially those of us who are, on a spiritual path, and raising our consciousness and doing our best to be better every day, right? To heal our inner angers, our fears, our wounds. We're even harder on ourselves because we know things, and the moments we aren't able to implement them, man, we beat ourselves up. So, and I think everybody can relate to that. I found all of my clients up until this moment can relate to that. And so I'm inviting you with this breath work to let that go.
Perfect.
To let any judgment go and just be present with what is. And from this moment forward, let what is surface and give mindful awareness to it with love versus judging or being harsh with yourself. Because we're not just clearing our stuff, we're clearing the collective humanity. We're clearing our ancestors, right? We're clearing things that we might not ever consciously know what we're clearing, right? There's only so much we're consciously capable of understanding and grasping. But what I do know is that when I do this breath work, when I better myself every day, when I do my best to keep getting up, even when I feel temporarily down, I know I'm affecting the whole of my ancestry, and I'm affecting the whole of everyone. And I don't need to know where or why or how. I just need to know that I matter. My focus matters, my attention matters. And it is affecting and rippling in places I will never know, but that's how divine energy works. Right? So as we're breathing, breathe in and tune into that truth. Tune into your inner light. Turn into those moments. Activate the feelings when you feel most connected to God, to life, to light. Okay? And so we're going to go again, breathing in for 5.
Hi.
Pausing at the top of the breath.
I
and then
unmuted everyone. So
Pardon?
I unmuted everyone. Welcome.
Okay.
Welcome new people that came, Jackie and Katie. Welcome.
Okay, so we're going to breathe in for 5, pause at the top of a breath briefly, and then exhale for 5 with a and each time let your shoulders drop, let your jaw drop. Tune into your heart, breathing in and out of your heart space. Tuning into that eternal oneness, turning into that love, turning into that grace that is always with us. We just forget, we just disconnect temporarily. And that's also a part of our journey. We remember, we forget. We remember, we forget. But the more consistently remember, that gap then gets smaller. And then we live in that place of remembrance and knowing more fully and completely. And so nobody's trying to be perfect here. We're just wanting to be able to be present for ourselves and for life, and to receive the good that's always there for us every moment. And what I'm going to do while you're breathing, I also play the Native American cedar flute. I'm going to play to accompany that breath work, okay? And there's energy work that takes place with that playing. And Kathy, let me know how the sound is.
Okay.
Zoom is usually pretty good with the sound.
Okay.
Okay. So let's all do our first breaths together. In for 5. Pause and in for 5. Just let your body feel how already just those 2 breaths are affecting your biology. Keep breathing with your eyes closed so you're turning inwards. Just notice what you notice. Notice where you might have holding in your body, in your shoulders, in your neck, in your abdomen, in your feet. And intentionally release it. Breathe into that space, that God force, that mana, that light. And as you're doing that breath work, I invite you to travel back in time and bring forward every moment of your existence where you were harsh with yourself, where you judged yourself, or you felt judged. I want you to breathe love into that woman, that man, that young woman. Breathe that love and tell her or him, I've got your back. You're okay. I love you. You are enough. You are enough. That in. We're all in a process of growth. Nobody is born with knowing everything. And yet we demand that of ourselves. And it's demanded of us. So breathe and unhook those frequencies that bind you there. And love yourself.
Well, they're not just whispering, but we'll all begin our nice masks soon.
Start playing. And I don't know who's on. If you can mute whoever is doing background noises, it's a little bit interrupting.
Oh, you buy your own paper?
Yeah.
Oh, what a pain. That's a pain.
You know what, maybe Kathy, maybe mute everybody so there's no background noise to disturb, so people can be in their space. Possible, Kathy?
Vacuum bag or leaves, or there's a lot of different things.
Okay. Okay, now breathe and tune into that silence. Let that help you take you deeper into your breath, into your body. Sending love back to your past selves. deep breath. I'm going to ask each one of you to bring to your mind and your body the feeling of a current situation that is causing stress, that is causing anxiety and fear. Bring it up and breathe into it. You might feel your body temporarily contract. You might feel a little bit of like a gasp of breath, because that's what we do when we have trauma. We hold our breath. That's why the breath is so important in healing. So bring up whatever is troubling you, whatever is coming up for you, and bring in that breath of light, of unity, of nature, of God, of spirit, however way you define that frequency that is good, that is life affirming and life supporting, that is love. Breathe it into those spaces. And feel whatever might come up. If there's tears, let them flow. That's your body trying to decompress and release. Feel the spaciousness expanding in your body and your mind. Your nervous system is resetting. And now I invite you to direct energy toward your ancestors on both your mother's and father's lineage line. And say thank you for all that you persevered and lived through that I could be. I love you. Speaking to the higher soul self of those ancestors from which you come, to bring healing, to bring clearing to whatever held and stored traumas and frequencies have been passed down the lineages to you that may be affecting you on subtle subconscious layers of being. And send understanding to any ancestors where you feel there's been a wrongdoing. And breathe in and say, I forgive you. Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you to the divinity that you are, that is within you, beyond the personality. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for any way that my being and consciousness, knowingly or unknowingly, has created whatever conflict has been in our lineage and is in my world. Please forgive me for the ways I have fed it to grow in my actions and deeds, unknowingly and maybe knowingly. And thank you, knowing that because we're imploring the divinity to bring healing and light there, it is so, it is done. That light is moving now. There's circulation and healing, lifting the densities and the entanglements that can block and obstruct the flow of your true divine light coming through, which is God. It's the true light of everybody, of everything in creation. Embrace that true light in all your ancestors. Embrace that true light in all the people you view as adversaries. Tune into that deeper, deeper truth of that reality. And tune in and check, what is my learning here? What can I learn through this experience or these past experiences that I couldn't learn had I not had them, that serve my evolution, that serve my self-awareness, that serve my capacity to discern and choose new in this present moment? What feeds me, what nourishes me, both externally and internally? Our power of focus is like being that boat on the water. Just this little redirection opens new pathways of energy in our bodies, in our minds, so we can attract different feedback. Because that's all the external experiences are, they're feedback. And they show us where we've already learned to love ourselves and love life, and where we're still working on it, where we're still healing. And it's all perfect. In the same way, an acorn is no less important or valuable or on purpose than the fully grown oak tree. Every phase of our growth and evolution is valuable, is necessary. Every mistake, every choice that we feel was wrong was actually right when we look at what it is offering us to know about ourselves and how we can self-navigate and direct our life again. That's embracing the paradox. Understanding that these dark forces that we talk about, these dark experiences and emotions, they actually have a creative function in our life. That friction between the light and the dark creates a flame of new creation. Without that friction, there's nothing. So take some deep breaths and embrace the duality of you, the dualities that we're always encountering in every moment within ourselves and in the external world, and allow them to be what they are. To stop the battle, the pushing and pulling of right, wrong, dark and light, and see, actually, these are forces, intelligent forces that are working together, governed by God, governed by divinity. And there's a teaching behind everything when I choose to look for it. Deep breaths. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. The Hawaiian way is all about sovereignty, reclaiming our sovereignty, reclaiming that I am the chooser in my life. And I have sovereign authority over me and my soul, but not over anybody else. And I allow people to have their sovereignty, which means I don't try to change anybody. I don't try to make other people like me. I can be a beneficial influence of just being me, but everybody has their sovereignty. And in that sovereignty, I have a direct connection to God, to life. And I have that innate power of focus, makia. What do I choose? What am I feeding in every moment of my existence, every second? And biologically, our brain is actually open a third of every second for a new command, a new directive. So it's not just a metaphorical idea, I can change who I am and my thoughts. It is biological. A third of every second, our biology is open for a new directive, a new path. Breathe that in. There's a lot of power there when we choose to make use of every third of a second that we can. We're not victims. We have so much power and capacity to use everything that comes our way to grow us. Deep breaths. Really feel the truth of that. Feel the substance of that. And the power of forgiveness in the Ho'oponopono is really just coming to the realization there are no accidents. There are no happenings without a purpose and a reason that I'm connected to in some way that has a direct purpose for me. And with that understanding, even the idea of forgiveness dissolves, because then we're just in union with the universe and these forces of duality that are here to help us create and to learn. So one of the things that I love about the Hawaiian tradition is the shamanic practice is called the way of the adventurer and the explorer versus the way of the warrior. When we're in the way of the warrior, we're constantly fighting. We're constantly creating shields and protection and story that actually perpetuates that inner war and that violence. And yes, in certain contexts, the way of the warrior is important. But in the context of personal evolution and meeting the dualities in our life, I have found that meeting it as an exploration and as an adventure in the way that the Hawaiians represent in their wisdom is far more useful and effective to help me heal and evolve. So I invite you to become more the explorer. So when something feels like it's about to take you down, you put on your Sherlock Holmes lamp and say, "Whoo, interesting. What is this? Let me shine some light and love on that so I can understand what is this and what is the learning? What is it here to teach me? How can I learn to better master my inner world by experiencing this experience and bringing joyfulness and playfulness into this process of healing?" Too often we're so heavy and laden. Oh my God, I got all this work to do. This is going to take a long time. Instead, engage our inner child's play and joy and curiosity. Breathe. So whatever situation you've brought up a few minutes ago, when I said bring in whatever is bothering you or troubling you, feel how it feels now. Has it shifted? Do you feel a little bit less of a visceral reaction to it? Notice any shifts, subtle or great. All we're doing is we're shifting perspective with new thought, new navigation, and breath. Two tools that you can use any moment, anytime, anywhere that can serve you. And feel the joy that can rise from that of like, wow, I actually do have power. I actually do have capacity. I can affect my reality. I can affect my biology. I can help my nervous system untangle the trauma responses and charges that are still in it that keep me in certain patterns and beliefs and stories and reactivity. I can heal. Breathing in the love. And breathe in. How is this situation giving me an opportunity to evolve and transform? Where is the transformation? And if nothing comes up right away, that's okay. It's like for me, I call it the inner Google search. I ask my questions, and sometimes I get an immediate visceral response, and sometimes it comes a little later. Sometimes the Google search has got to go a bit deeper, and it takes some time to come forward. But what matters is, where's my Makia going? My attention, my focus is directed towards wanting to evolve and transform through this. Calling on all the life force within and around me to support me to do that. So I can be more fully in my heart. And when I'm more fully in my heart, I'm more connected to nature and to God and to spirit, which means I'm more connected and capable to receive the divine guidance that's there for me in every moment. And that's the whole purpose, is how do we bring ourselves back into that space of connectedness? So I know beyond a doubt, my answers are here, they're within me. And I know beyond a doubt, I am supported and I am loved by all creation. And because of that, I can make it through this. And a quote that I really love that came up for me when this was happening with the coronavirus, from, I believe it was Martin Luther King, he said this. He said, even if I knew the world was going to end tomorrow, I would plant my apple seed today. So that's how we're being called to live. We're being called to live on purpose. Creating, we need to create. Creativity is the movement of life. It is the action that brings healing. It's the action that brings that life force in to animate us and to guide us. So whatever creative actions you can take with hobbies or baking or going outside in nature, keeping action moving, activity of creativity and creation flowing is the key in every moment. Breathe in. Tune into that God force that is you right now, pulsing through you. In Hawaii, it's called Manava. I am now. Not it is now. I am now. Feel that powerful force of creativity and creation. In our moment of power now. And when we bring our breath and our focus to that life force, magic happens, providence moves. We're okay, we're safe. Breathe. Love prevails all trauma. Love prevails all trauma. Feel that truth. And as you feel ready, keep breathing the timing you need. And as you feel ready, start to wiggle your toes. Come back more fully. Open your eyes. And just notice how you feel. How is your body feeling right now? Maybe there are some tensions that have let go. Maybe there's more space. Maybe you feel just more at peace, more confident.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Luannah, there are some people that would like healings. Would you like to work on a few people now?
Sure. I'd like to hear how people are feeling.
Okay, so let me unmute. Well, who wants to raise their hand to, oh, I can't see if Susie Brighton's raising her hand, I can't tell. Or Jackie Arnold, but anyone, oh good, Laura. Okay, I'll unmute you. There you go, dear.
Yeah, thank you. That was really beautiful. I really love that. I feel very relaxed. And I've been very stressed. I'm on the front lines in the hospital, and it's just been enormously stressful.
I can only imagine. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Yes.
And the beauty is that when you can bring yourself into that breath at work as well, it will help bring coherence to other people there too, which will then feed back to you. I can only imagine the stress that you're going through, and it's unimaginable.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that you found that this helped a little bit to help relieve the stress.
Thank you.
I'm really, really grateful for that. Yeah. Thank you for all you're
Do
doing.
Luannah, do you want to do a little more for her?
I can, for sure.
That would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do I need to do anything?
Just be you.
Give instead of always give.
I just need to take a sip of water. Okay, I'm just tuning in to see. Okay. So just keep doing the breath work. And I work with a few different techniques. One of them is called spiritual response therapy. And so I think I'm going to do a bit of work with that for you and just do a general a clearing and then see whatever else might be helpful to release within you so that you can come into more strength and solidity in this time of crisis. Does that sound like a good focus? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Righty, just 1 second. All right, so there's a bit of a process where I'm tuning in. It's called prep to work, so I'm going to do this. And as I'm doing this with you, I'm asking that this is being done with everybody. So everybody will receive a lot of clearing through this prep to work already. It's about opening space and aligning with our high self committee, basically. So spiritual response therapy is, I look at it like a map of the things we could never imagine or think of that could be affecting us, right? We have limited knowledge and limited ideas, right? And all of our perceptions seem to always fit into that package that we have, but there's so much more. And so the spiritual response therapy, it's a map. It was created by Robert Detzler about 40 years ago. And it helps to access things that we wouldn't even think of that we need to access. spirit programs, discordant energies, beings and blocks, ancestral stuff, our high self committee. Sometimes we forget, we always think our high self committee, they're almighty and all knowing, but they're also evolving. And sometimes our high self committee members, they've helped us to a certain point, but they're like our grade 9 teacher. Now we need a grade 10 teacher. So part of this prep to work is also reassigning and realigning our high self committees so that they are representing the highest vibration of light and truth and intelligence that is available to us now and that is most useful for us. Okay, so it's quite a fun process too, and you might feel some shifts as it's happening. And again, I'm going to be doing this prep to work for everybody so that I can go directly into the session with you when we do some direct healing. Okay? Okay. So, Spirit and I are one. We work as a team, and I'm working with a pendulum. That is my guide. It is my intention to be a neutral and clear channel for high self and spirit. Please close any openings and clear and remove all programs, beings, blocks, and interference in both myself and those on the call who will receive healings. To prep us to work, please. Thank you. And as there's silence, it's just the energy is clearing, right? So just breathe. How long will it take to prep me for work? 0 minutes. How long to prep all the clients, all the people on this call and their high selves at this time? 0 minutes. Thank you. Okay, please prep us all to work. Please clear and remove all blocking programs, interference, and negative energies for me and my high self and those on the call and their high self. Thank you. Do I have permission to work with the people on the call? Yes. And what is your name? What is your name?
Laura?
Laura. And Laura, yes, okay. I have permission to work with Laura, yes. Okay. Who am I working with? Spirit, okay. Are our spiritual committees the minimum size for the maximum effect? No. Okay, please, Spirit, please reduce our spiritual committees to the minimum size for the maximum effect and establish proper supervision. Thank you. Please also clear, remove, elevate, and educate all spiritual committee members, including high self, to the highest level on chart 3 of radiant divine love. Are all of our high self committees clear to the heart of spirit and the highest level of radiant divine love? Yes. Is all high selves downloaded and assimilated and working with the highest levels of knowledge, wisdom, truth, light, and understanding the one universe? No. Okay, so please update high self with all new information, wisdom, truth, light, understanding, and potentials in the one universe, as well as the entire SRT system. Thank you. Are all bodies clear of negative energy? No, please clear all bodies of negative programming. Thank you. What percentage of ego am I in? 2.8%. Thank you. What percentage is my neutrality? 100%. Thank you. Do I or any of the clients have extra souls? Yes. Okay. Please clear and remove anything spiritually binding to other souls, including addictions. Clear, remove, and send them to the right and perfect place. Thank you. Thank you. Verifying they've all been cleared? Yes. As I self-set a triple shield of protection? Yes. Okay. So I have my book here that's going to guide me through the charts. Let's see where we go. Okay. So for Laura right now, is there work we can do to help her right now in this situation to give her greater strength and release the stresses and tensions? Yes. Okay. Please show me what chart do we need to go to? Soul energy programming. Okay. Okay. Please show me where we need to go. Okay, so we got chart 11, soul energy programming. We got dysfunction of thought. So helping to clear dysfunction of thought. Again, thoughts are what create and influence our biology and the world, right? And so at this time I can imagine, and you're under the influence of so many thoughts as well, where you work, right? So you're at the effect. So let's clear dysfunction of thought. And I'm asking for this healing to be dispensed upon everybody on this call and everybody who listens afterwards where it's needed. So you can tune in and receive that as well. So I'm waiting for it as the pendulum is spinning. When it stops, then that's when I know that it's been cleared and it's done. Thank you. Verifying that is clear. Yes. Is there anything more on this chart? No. Is there anything more we can do? Yes. Please show me where. Please show me where. Chart 24, rebirth of conscious mind. Okay, please show me where we need to go, inside or outside, inside. Okay, we're getting, again, thoughts, obsessive thoughts. So we're asking that to help be cleared now. Take some deep breaths. Thank you. Is there anything more on this chart? Yes, inside or outside? Inside. Okay, please show me. So we're getting buried beliefs. So we just do a clearing of whatever the buried beliefs are that are enforcing the stress and the challenges that you're in right now. Please clear buried beliefs. And the way I look at, clearing buried beliefs, they're kind of like weeds that come up in our garden that we didn't ask to be there, right? And they take away the life force from what we've actually intentionally planted, what we really want to grow, right? So a lot of this SRT is about weeding our garden, right? Clearing what's been buried there or implanted there, either way from our own creation or ancestry or the world. And we're saying, okay, let's clear this so that there's space for what I want to grow, for my soul to blossom to its fullest, with less of these other influences that are taking my life force without me knowing it. These clear buried beliefs. Thank you. Is there anything more we can do? Yes. Okay. So I'm being guided to the direct healing processes chart. How are you feeling?
Better, actually. I felt like there was suddenly more space around me, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And then I had the Let It Go song go through my head a little bit.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. No, it's pretty amazing. When I had my first session with SRT, it was actually at a distance from Peru, from a shaman there. And it had such an impact on me. I went, I have to learn this. And so then a few months later, I traveled to the Rockies and I did the basic and advanced, and I've done more trainings ever since then. That's already a few years ago. And it's like one of those things in life, it's ineffable, right? It's not necessarily easy to give direct definition, but also it is if you use quantum physics. All energy is connected, right? And our attention creates a change in what we're observing. So that's how I understand how this works, right? It's the things that we don't see and that we don't give attention to that tend to have that subconscious power to take over and hijack us, right? Versus the things we already know, well, we already know how to navigate. So it's about how do I get in touch with the things that I don't know so I can put my awareness there, and then that can create the movement I need, right? So that I can finally get out of the loop of my repetitive patterns and programs, right? So I'm happy that's what you felt. You felt that lightness and space. That's what it's about, creating space. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you
So
so much.
we're on the direct healing processes chart. So we'll see what's going to be here for you. Okay. And then we'll see what goes from there. Where do we need to be, on the inside or outside? Okay. Let's see. So we're getting to raise your physical and aura vibration. So do some nice deep breaths. Thank you. Is there anything more in this chart? Yes, inside or outside, outside. Please show me. So consciousness changing. So what this generally means is, and it comes up all the time when we've just moved some deep stuff, so it's helping your consciousness to shift and adapt to the new frequencies, right? Because we've been running on the same matrix for who knows how long. So our consciousness is used to relating to that matrix. So this consciousness changing is helping to ease the integration of this movement, these changes. So that's what's coming in now. Thank you. Is there anything more on this chart? Yes. Please show me where. Okay, heal all bodies. So we have many energetic bodies as well as our physical body. We have our etheric body, astral body, mental body, emotional body, our Buddha body, our Christ body. We've got all these different bodies, energetic layers. And so right now this is healing, bringing healing to all the layers, which I can imagine, you know, being in the situation you're in, you're exposed to so many emotions and energies, right? And it's like our energy body's like a filter and stuff can get stuck, right? And stuff that's not even our own, but it has a match maybe to something that's in us, because nothing can stick where there isn't a match, but it can amplify, right? And make it harder to navigate. So this is, yeah, this makes sense to me too. Okay. And again, this is happening for everybody right now. Everybody who needs these applications, it's happening. Spirit is doing it that way. Thank you. Is there anything more on this chart? No. Anything more at this time? No. Are we complete with that? Yeah, so we're complete with that for now. How do you feel?
Better. I even look better on the
You
picture.
do. You look brighter. Yeah, I can see it. I don't know if anybody else can notice it, but you do. You look. Yeah, it's like it's like your soul is coming forward again. It was sort of enshrouded and held, right? It's like it's coming forward now.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
thank
look
you
like
so much.
you look
Thank
like
you.
burdens were taken off.
Yeah,
Burdens.
feel
And
that.
and I actually feel that way too. I definitely felt the difference while she was working on you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you
Yay.
for everything you do. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Spirit.
So Luannah, there's a lot more people here. What could we do? Is there something we could do? Because we've got less than half an hour or about a half an hour more. So
Okay.
what
Yeah.
would we do? There's people that have bad backs. There's people that have shoulders. I
So
mean,
what I can get you to do is give me, I'm going to write down the names and what they're
okay, so
meant to mean, and then I'll
it just
direct.
says Bill wants an individual healing. Bill, what?
Yes.
Yes.
It'll be a big agenda.
Okay.
It may help others.
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
very familiar with SRT. My
Okay.
sister is
Beautiful.
an expert.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I know it takes some time to go through all the steps and processes and
Yes.
branches in the road.
Yes.
The reason I wanted healing today is that I have in this past few weeks undergone a tremendous amount of what I will call spiritual growth and an expansion.
Yes.
And
Okay.
in the course of that, what's come back is a condition for me in my feet, where my feet are just hot and burning all the time. I wear socks as little as possible. And at night now, I'm starting to get kind of shooting pains down into my feet, etc. I've been checked for diabetes numbers of times and other things related to it. No, there's nothing wrong.
Okay.
But I am carrying the soul history of Jacques de Molay.
Okay.
And Jacques was the head of the Knights Templar.
Okay.
And in 1303, I believe it was, when the Pope and King Philip IV of France decided they had to get rid of the knights, there was on Friday the 13th, which is where we got that.
Yeah.
There was this capture of and killing of as many, or imprisonment of as many knights as possible.
Okay.
Jacques was the head of the Knights Templar at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was in the desert with my shaman in Utah back, let's just call it 15 years ago, I had a real breakthrough experience. And in the experience, for the first time ever in my life, my feet were burning. Okay. And I mean, I was lying there on the ground and just stomping my feet to try to get this from going to go away. And he said, okay, your cells are awakening. Your cells are awakening. Well, that was the start of this phenomenon for me. Okay. So while you have been doing all this work with all of us, I have been half in the work and half clearing some stuff because Jacques he could have escaped. Okay, there was a group of people who, I can't go into it, okay, it's confidential, but they were carrying an incredible spiritual power, and he helped them escape because he could not let down his men. Okay? He had to stand and face the Pope and face the king. And what I realized, Kathy knows this, Elsie knows this, is I, in my entire career, have been facing the equivalent of the Pope, which is the educational establishment and the government that keeps it reinforced, et cetera, to try to bring about true transformation in that system, okay? And I'm seeing in this process the parallels of that. Because my shaman reminded me the last time we were out in the desert together, you know, you look like Jacques, because there's a portrait that was done of him. Yes, I look like Jacques, blah, blah. So we went through that whole song and dance, okay? So he and I both know that is true. But what I got is that I am holding this energy and I can't let it go somehow with all the work I've done. I'm holding this energy of fighting, as it were, the big institutions and how they are keeping people imprisoned in a narrow paradigm of existence, et cetera, et cetera. 10 years ago, almost exactly, same date, I had an experience where I released the warrior archetype, okay? And I was given a new archetype, okay? Much higher, much higher. So I don't know what this burning feet is all about. I don't know if that's still part of that agenda or if that is something biological, et cetera, that's just something else altogether. I don't know. But it's getting to the point where it's just irritating constantly, and at night, it's there at night. It seems to have calmed down in the morning by the time I wake up, but I sleep with my feet not under the covers, but outside the covers. I mean, anything to keep my feet cool.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And I've done I have done a ton of clearing of the ancestors. I'm German, but Russian German, both sides of the family. I've done clearing because their whole gestalt is sacrifice and struggle and suffering, and all wrapped up in a German word called schaffen, which is just work. And I've done an enormous amount of clearing, both of me and them, as much as I can of that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Everything healing is in layers, right? And
yeah,
so
well,
layer,
hello.
each layer, you know, sometimes we
Without
get
your
surprised,
shovel.
right? That's why, you know, I never assume that I've got everything done anymore, that it's taken care of, because I know there's always layers to, you know, like with the breath work, it opened up, right? And so then there's a layer of stuff that comes out and is released and creates space for more to come up, right?
Yep.
And we have so much. I have German ancestry as well, and Viking and French. I'm a Heinz variety. I'm German, Jewish, English, Irish, French.
Oh, oh,
So I've always had this joke. I've got all these opposing nationalities working it out in my DNA.
So I'm 100% pure. So there we go.
Okay, you're 100% pure. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's layers, right? And anytime we have a healing, it's the layer that's available to be healed at that time, right? And so that's why sometimes it takes a while to get to some of the core issues or challenges that repeat. Like I call the PhD. We all have a PhD. There's certain frequencies we're needing to clear and master, and
Yep.
there's many layers to that learning and that healing, right? So it sounds like this is a PhD.
Well,
healing and learning.
He is a PhD.
yeah, I am one. I am.
Literally, right?
I'm sitting here barefooted right now, and my feet are roasting.
Okay, good. Okay. So one energy that just came in intuitively when you were sharing that whole story was the energy of guilt.
Oh,
Have you ever explored? Pardon?
I say, could it be?
Could it be? Yeah. So and that guilt is perhaps when it's in your feet. So feet are about how I stand in the world, how I move forward. Right?
Understood.
Right?
Yep.
And so and when we have incongruencies in our energy, right, then it's hard to be standing solidly in who we are. And in that standing solidly, there's a hard time to allow the support of divinity and the earth to flow freely through. And so the feet can be a blocking point, as well as the crown can be a blocking point to these forces, the flows, right? So there was a feeling of, a sense of a guilt of somehow you feel responsible for many of these burdens of also the education system and fighting them. And maybe that guilt is creating a block to letting it be what it is, because there's a bigger story and dynamic unfolding there that's not just about you.
Well, my whole body is roasting now.
Okay. So there's something in there that's a resonant of
yes,
truth.
I am not sure if I am a spirit being or a physical being.
Yeah.
And the more spiritual work I do, the more the dichotomy seems ever present.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I grew up entirely without this kind of spiritual awakening you were talking about at 7 years old. Okay, for me, it was religious. Okay, I mean, it was like I really believed in Jesus and all the stuff they said at church. Okay, really did that heavy duty.
Yeah.
But when I got my education and when I went into my career, it was like I stepped into a different reality than the one I grew up in, and the one that was in that legacy. Yeah. And my father was an exemplar of it. My mother gave them tons of money for their historical society, all this stuff. And for me, it's been 50-50. Do I honor it or do I transcend it? Mm-hmm. And anyway, all of this stuff with Jacques and all of that was part of the same dilemma.
Mm-hmm. So it's like there's a cognitive dissonance. You know that term from trauma?
It's enormous. I mean, the Knights Templar were carrying a spiritual message that so transcended Catholicism, except they were all Catholics. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, it's almost that same thing. I have the official degrees from official education.
Yes.
And it's like I'm telling all the people I work with, can you let go of this?
Yes.
And go someplace else. I mean, there's something higher to be done here.
Yes. Yes. Take a deep breath with me right now. Take
What?
a really deep breath in. Take a deep breath in, the 5 in, and just breathe that through. Let it go out. With let that move in your body. Another deep breath.
Oh man, it's intense.
It's intense. Yeah, I can feel that. So in the, you know, the theme of the talk today and everything is about embracing the paradox, right?
I got it,
So
sure. Indeed.
making peace with the duality, because when we don't, then we have that, you know, cognitive dissonance that creates an incongruency, right? And what I've come to understand too with the Hawaiian work and many other modalities is that it's that inner incongruency that is the source of all of our dis-ease, right?
I'm
Where we're
burning up
full.
inside. I'm just
Okay, so keep breathing, so then it's moving, right? So it's about how do we bring this seemingly opposing energies to be united,
so hard.
that both have their place and purpose, even if I don't understand it right now. But I have to surrender to a higher governance of life and trust, so I can let go of my ego attachment, my mind attachment. And that's the sovereignty, right? We can't change anybody but ourselves. We
But
can be present.
it's the mind attachment to my mission. It's like
Exactly.
I'm letting go of my whole purpose for being here.
So take a deep breath with that and really feel, is that really true? Or are you embracing the mission by entering a space of allowing and trusting? That even though you don't know all the ripples that you're having and you've had, but they are fulfilling your mission. If you can create a little space for that possibility.
It's about it's the place where I am is about feeling that I just need to let go of the quote mission entirely.
Or how about let go of the way you framed the mission till now?
Yeah, except I don't know what thoughts to put around that right now.
But you can call on your high self committee, your guide, and say, okay, guys, I'm ready. Help me to crack this shell so that whatever solidified patterns, which I have a feeling we're gonna do some clearing of solidified patterns that's coming up, to help clear these solidified patterns so that you can receive some of that higher divine ordination of wisdom and truth that can guide you and move you.
My troops I call them my troops. They're guiding me constantly. And I rely on them and trust them.
Yes. So take some deep breaths and really, really surrender the ideas of what you think the outcome is supposed to look like by your mission too, because that's a part that entraps us too. We have this idea of how it should look and the timing it should take place. And that ends up creating a block, as well intentioned as it is. So to trust that you being you and you fulfilling your evolution and your healing is impacting and rippling in beneficial ways, even if you can't see it directly at this time. But letting yourself trust that.
I'm sending it out as much as I can.
Yeah. And even just, again, like the boat, a micro dot, even just letting go of a little bit, there's space created. So I'm clearing solidified patterns right now. That's what came up. Okay.
Oh.
Clear solidified. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, aloha. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Shake it through. And really bring focus to your feet and opening like doorways in the bottom of your feet to let the energy move through. Oh. So you can feel the nurturing current of Mother Earth coming through. Eh, aloha, eh.
Oh. Oh my
Excellent. Eh, aloha,
God.
eh. Eh, aloha, eh. God bless. God bless. Breathe.
Trying to breathe.
Yeah. Ah. Let it out. If you got to scream, let it out. If a sound wants to come out, we're here. Hold on.
What? I'm sorry.
If a
Louder.
sound needs to come out, if a sound needs to come out, let it out. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to invite everybody to breathe with him. Help him breathe. You do the breath work with us. Help him to breathe, everybody. In for 5. Nui nui. Nui nui. Nui nui. Hey there.
Getting better.
God bless. Thank you. I'm feeling guided to sing a song for you, for everybody, but right now it's come through 3 times. It's a song that channeled through me in 5 minutes in a moment when I had self-loathing and dislike. And then this incredible song came through as a healing.
Please.
So I'm gonna sing that, okay? Let me take a sip of water. And I invite you to sing, each of you to sing the chorus too. And you'll catch it when it happens, okay? So the song's called God Bless All of Me. And we can use God in whatever way. For me, that is a very powerful antenna. It's a word that connects to that source of life and light. Okay, so that's what I'm connecting to, not to a dogma, not to an idea, but to that source of love and light that prevails. Okay. Okay. God bless all of me. 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 Through the darkness into the light, I walk faithfully, knowing with all my heart the truth will set me free. My wounds, they will heal. My fears will dissolve. Into the light of love, I will learn, I will grow. God bless all of me. 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 There's no experience without a purpose, meaning, or reason. Every moment is full of potential to evolve, turning hatred into love, anger to peace, intolerance to kindness, and pain to joy. God bless all of me. 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 Every moment I am given the greatest gift of all, the power to choose. Will I rise or will I fall? For every thought weaves a pattern, every feeling a ripple, drawing to me more of the same. So I choose love, I choose peace, I choose gratitude, I choose joy, I choose beauty, I choose innocence, I choose trust, I choose unity. God bless all of me, 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 God bless all of me,
God
all of me, God bless all of me, God bless all of me. Help me to love as you love eternally. Help me to love, oh help me to love. Deep breath. Really connect to the energy of that song. Word and energy.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Well, there's still a lot of heat and density in my fingers, hands, and my feet, but it's releasing. It's just taking time.
Yeah.
There's so much there. It just had to just wash through and wash out.
Had to come out.
Huh?
And while you were, it had to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while you were moving the energy, we did raising of your physical and aura vibrations as well. Clearing
Okay.
programs of self-punishment as well. Yeah, healing all bodies as well, and raising light and love in every cell of your body. So that was all happening while you were processing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for, the healing of one is the healing of all. The opening into vulnerability opens the pathway for others to be open and vulnerable to heal. This is not easy stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Kathy has my email and I put it up there, so I hope we can communicate.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
So Linda has had her hand up for a while.
Yes.
We don't have much time to, is that okay? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there you
Hello,
go.
Linda.
Hi.
Hi. What can I hold space for?
So for me, I've practiced energy work probably like 20 years ago. And I keep hesitating in moving forward. There
Say that
seems to
again?
be, I keep hesitating in moving forward with it or stepping into it.
Yes.
And I took some time off kind of exploring some other things, thinking maybe that wasn't my path. But I feel like I'm being called back to it. But again, there's like this, I don't know if it's fear or a judgment of self, or maybe a combination of both.
Okay. So just do a few of those breaths with me right now. And I'm going to ask you to direct that all energetic influences that are affecting you, that are not from your divine soul, are not from God, that are voices from other people, other times, other lifetimes, wherever. I'm asking you to direct right now that all those fibers of influence be lovingly dissolved with your breath, okay? And tune into how that feels. You're the only one who can direct that. Directing that all influences, thoughts, perceptions, stories that are being projected towards you from outside influences of not being good enough, of disbelief, of mistrust, of doubt, of judgments of you, that they all be dissolved with love right now, so that the stronger dominant frequencies of your soul can come through, and of God's love for you can come through. Breathe deep. And tune into your heart area and feel a glowing light that is your love, your soul, your unique purpose, your unique gifts, your unique expression. And it carries a frequency of warmth and love. Tune into that in your heart and let that expand through your body. And seal the openings and the places that those other external energies had space to attach to. Because somewhere you had a matching belief about yourself or a story. And let that love fill those portals, those openings, those cracks. Let God's love, Spirit's love, help you fill those portals and openings and cracks with love and light. Feel that warmth grow. And tune in to what is your, if you were to tune into your body of truth, which is your soul body, your light body, and you ask me the question, what it is.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, so tune in to your body, your soul body, your light body, now free of these influences. What does your heart tell you? Where is your calling driving you towards with passion and joy? Tune into the energy healing aspect. You feel flickers of passion, of joy, of desire. Looking to expand like a bud in the springtime, looking to burst open, to grow. Can you feel that inside of you?
I don't feel like I'm connecting with anything. Like when I go inside and I feel like I'm listening and looking.
Okay. So tune into your heart area. So your energy is going to the feeling versus the mind looking. So it's your heart, right? So what I'm looking to do here, I'm feeling guided to do, is to bring you into the presence of you, with this less influences of outer external voices that have been affecting you and your choice. So you can tune into your heart, your energy. And just see if you can. And what I will do is I might look to see if there's any heart walls, some barriers to feeling and tuning in. Okay?
Okay.
Keep breathing. Do you have any heart motions that you can release? Yes. Okay. Which column? Is it column A? Maybe column A. Okay. Which row is it? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So vision, discouragement, yes. Rejection, yes. So I'm getting that there's a heart wall, a block of energies of discouragement, rejection, and sadness.
Okay.
So please move into that, and we're clearing those now.
Okay.
Discouragement, rejection, and sadness. Please clear. Release these trapped emotions and complete this thought. Breathe in your heart. Because whatever direction you go, what's important is your passion and your joy is there. That is what is going to blaze the path and open it for you. Not so much a logical conclusion or an idea. So I'm getting the sense that somewhere your passion and your joy was blocked somewhere.
Right.
Maybe it was judged by somebody in the past. Maybe it was ridiculed. And so somewhere you've created a block so that you don't allow yourself to really engage your passion and your joy. So breathe into that and tune in and send love, even if you don't have a memory of it right now. Yes, send it to your body. Send that love to that past self, this lifetime, another lifetime. Say your joy is important, your passion is important. You are allowed to express your passion and joy, even if others don't understand it. Even if others might try to judge and discourage you. Send that love, bring healing there. Clearing discouragement, rejection, and sadness. Breathe into let the feelings come out if any want to. You get the sense that you've created a really strong, like you're strong, right? There's a strength to you. That strength has been built most like a protection. To protect from being rejected, perhaps. Protect you from being ridiculed or laughed at with your joy and your ideas and your visions. Energy work is still, though it's more popular, there's a lot of disbelief that goes towards it, and maybe somebody's disbelief hit you and it implanted. So we're going to uproot that now.
Okay.
Uproot that. Breathe. It took me a long time to get confident to come out too, even though I've had this since I was 7. It took a long time. And even still, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. There's the joy. Let that movement, because there's recognition there. Yeah, let that flow. Yeah. Yeah, God bless. Embrace that part, call that part of your soul back. Call it home to earth within you, to sprout. It's spring, it's the perfect time. Use that spring energy where everything is just waiting, it's just waiting to burst. Feed that in your heart, in your soul. Call on the energies of nature and spring and say, please fertilize and nourish the seed of light in me to take root as part of my soul. Feed it, nourish it. So I can reconnect to the passion that brought me to that path. I'm sure there was a joy and a passion that brought you to explore that 20 years ago. Reconnect. Maybe there's some past lives of persecution and prosecution. Let's clear those. Beliefs, hidden beliefs, patterns, genetic beliefs. Let's clear those and replace with the truth. Uproot all blocks to positive expression of love and joy and passion, excitement, confidence. Spirit, rock, trunk, root, and seed. And restore your soul's capacity to experience and live those expressions of positive love and growth. I felt just something lift off the shoulders there.
I feel it releasing, like as I feel my body moving. It almost feels like releasing from the top down through the bottom of my shoulder blades.
Yeah, it feels like it. I feel that the upper body most. It's like there's been crystallizations of belief and emotion that are breaking free and opening. That have been like a weight. What comes to mind is there's an image that went through Facebook of this statue with cracking lights coming from within, like all the cement is just cracking and breaking away, light, shattering the cement that's held it in. So it's a visual maybe to meditate with too after this. Tuning in, where do I feel like cement blocks blocking? For me, one of the most inspiring elements of nature is seeing a blade of grass, one single blade pushing through cement. That reality has given me so much hope in my childhood and adulthood. Such a simple visual, but it's that force of life that wants to be itself. So that force of your soul that wants to be itself. 100%.
Okay.
That's the force, right? And it was cemented over.
Right.
So I invite you to use that visualization with the breath work, morning and night. Do 20 to 30 breaths and really tune in to feed yourself that seed, that part of your soul that's clearly wanting to come back. Otherwise, it would be nudging.
Right.
So your path is always going to be joyful and full of passion. That's the path. Even if it seems insurmountable, even if we have no freaking clue how we're going to do it, follow your path.
One foot in front of the other.
Exactly, because that passion activates all of our, angels and guides and God, and then that creates the movement, then that creates the magnetism that then attracts to us what we need, right? And the people that have already agreed to work with us at some point in time on a soul spiritual level, right? Okay. How do you feel?
Better. I don't feel the clenching in my jaw that I normally feel.
I can see it release.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I still feel like my body, the twitching and that, I still feel that releasing, but.
That might be happening for days.
Right.
Let it happen,
Right.
And good practice that I learned with my Peruvian shaman is if you can go outside. Do you have a yard?
Yeah.
Can you lay down, belly down to the earth?
Okay.
Yeah. And give the energy to the earth and receive the nurture of Mother Earth coming through. And give it that direction. Nature and angels and everybody, they're just waiting for our directive. They have no authority to affect us. That's why focus is important. And when I say and direct to Mother Earth, okay, please take this from me, Mother Earth. Right? And one of my elders, he said, Mother Earth has a ferocious appetite for the negative because she knows what to do with it. She knows how to transmute it. Whereas we don't, we make a mess of it.
Right.
So to give Mother Earth, right? And then say, Mother Earth, yeah, and say, Mother Earth, I'm willing to receive whatever healing you have for me that's for my best.
Okay.
And then you can find forces to bless you from above as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe have to practice, for however long it feels it's useful for you.
Okay.
Good. Again, micro movement. It's already a different direction.
Right.
Right? Small shift is already in direction.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda. Keep in touch.
I will. Thank you.
Much love.
Yes.
Much love.
Linda, I feel your shoulder blades like you have wings that are trying to come out, like angelic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel
Beautiful.
it? I mean, I've been done it all along.
What'd you say?
That your shoulder blades,
Right.
lower, you have wings, angel wings that are trying to come out. Do you know that? That's
I
what
don't know that, but I will welcome it.
Yeah, but they couldn't come until now.
Right.
Mm. Mm.
No, it
Beautiful.
feels really good. It's like burning good,
Mhm.
not like
Yeah.
burning pills. Oh, thank you,
Thank you
Luannah.
so much.
Luana, this has been beautiful. Thank you. So everyone that wanted, I mean, there were several people got off that didn't stay. Susie Brighton's still on and she wanted help, but everyone else that's been on has had help. Susie, can you talk? Your video doesn't work. Susie, are you still there? I didn't mute her. Well, maybe she's not still there. Susie lives in Sedona.
Okay.
So
Maybe she just went for a bathroom break.
I don't know, but we're already 2 hours in, so I don't really want to abuse my privileges with you.
I'm here. I'm happy. I'm happy to do more if she's there. But if not, that's okay.
Well, I can call her if she's. I'm here. I don't know how to unmute. Well, you
Oh,
are
okay.
unmuted.
But she also has a little speaker icon that she can press in the
She's on
left
her
corner.
phone and it's showing unmuted from my console.
Hmm.
Are you there?
What if she tries to reconnect, to reboot the connection? Because she spoke before, right? You were able to hear her before at the beginning,
I
right?
don't remember if she said hi when she got on or not, actually. I'm here. I don't know how to unmute is what she has on. I'm trying. She had said that something, this went about a half an hour ago. This took me into when I got attacked in 1996 to something I never saw before. I'm in the middle of a huge triggering of emotions. Can she help me now? That's why I was
Yes.
trying to get her on.
Yes, I wish you were on. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Oh, there
Hi,
you
I
are.
wish I could see you.
I know I don't have a camera.
Okay, well, we can work about that. You have a microphone at least, because I know.
I know it's the one you got me.
Okay.
This beautiful microphone.
Yeah, good. Good. Okay.
Hey, hi, Susie.
Hi.
Hey, so something from what we did brought this up?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, I never saw this before till today.
Okay,
It's,
okay, beautiful. Please share.
well, I was attacked. Well, I've been doing healing work for over 25 years, and I was attacked in my neighborhood park in 1996. And when I came back to try to call the police, my husband at the time was on the phone, and he took his time getting off, and I was so filled with fear. And I've had this fear ever since. I've never really had a healing on this. And then the next day I was in deep shock when he came home from work, and he just, and I just sat there in this space, and he just kind of yelled at me and said, "Quit playing the poor me game." And I just got so angry. So I have all this anger and all of this fear and this grief going up.
You weren't seen and heard.
And he was just one of the men in my life that you know, didn't want to listen, didn't want to understand, wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
And so I haven't even been able to do any healing work in the last few years, and even my voice is going, and I make sounds, and last night I got triggered because a friend and I were listening to music from, you know, when we were younger, and I was trying to sing along, and my voice is cracking and it's not going up to the places I need to go, and my lungs are just rasping, and I have no energy, and I need to get past all this so I can do what I came here to do. I've been doing evolutionary healing for 25 years. So that's what's going on.
And this is happening to bring an inner evolution in you too.
Yes, I need to go to a higher place, and I need to, you know, get past all this.
Yeah, yeah. So I really understand, because I've had a similar experience in my life that I had to overcome. So just so you know, I understand the biology of what happens, the shock of where you were the day after, right? And then
And when I called 911 and got that phone number and got a hold of whoever they told me to call, they said it would be a month before I could talk to somebody. So
yeah, I know it's
even the
crazy.
system wasn't there.
No. So you were left, you were alone.
Yeah.
So what that will do to your limbic system is it will create a hypervigilance
Yes.
of feeling safe.
Oh yeah. I've had that for a very long time, since I was 3, and my mom had shock treatments actually.
Oh. Okay, take a deep breath with this as you're sharing. Breathing, doing that breath work while we're talking is a good way to help the energy to move, because whenever we come in touch with an emotion, we tend to contract a little bit. You might have noticed you were holding your breath a little bit again. So deep breaths.
Oh yeah, I always do that.
Yeah, it's a default mechanism. And you know, our limbic system is perfectly designed if we have to escape from a tiger and run up a tree, right?
Right.
It shuts down our frontal neocortex, our capacity to reason and think, because if we take too much time to reason and think, we'll end up being dinner. Right? So there's a purpose why our frontal neocortex shuts down, right? It has to in a real life-threatening threat. But when it's with emotional threats and stuff like that, it's the same chemistry that's released. So our body just follows that same fight, flight, or freeze mechanism. It doesn't have the discernment of knowing the difference between I'm actually being chased up a tiger and I need to lose my reasoning faculties so I can have my instincts and get up that tree, right?
Right.
Or emotions that are affecting us and crippling us and creating the exact same body chemistry, right? So
yeah, and I actually did SRT years ago too when it first came out. I went to the guy's house. So
oh, beautiful. You know Robert personally. That's awesome.
Long time ago.
Right. So I share this information of your biology because one of the things that happens when we've been traumatized, particularly if we've been attacked physically, sexually, whatever way, and then we have a hard time overcoming it, we are often hard on ourselves. Right. And so we don't understand why our biology is doing that to us, and we often can feel betrayed by our biology. So I'm sharing this information so you can take a deep breath with me right now and regain trust of your biology. It did what it knew how to do. The best it could. Yeah, breathe. Yeah. Bring up that moment of shock. The energy, the memory in your nervous system. Breathe into it. We're going to create space, and I'm going to ask everybody to breathe with her. So that's one of the Hawaiian shamanic ways we breathe for the person who's healing. So if everybody would do that breath, 5 in, 5 out, with the direction to help breathe for Susie to move that energy so that that charge in her nervous system has space and place to release and discharge. Ah. Yeah. Just let it flow. Give that sadness and that feeling a voice. It needs to be heard and received, and we're here hearing your voice. Receive. The you that you were then, the love is. Breathe. With your focus and attention, Susie, I'm going to invite you to direct love to the past you. To the girl that was frozen there when her husband came in. To the girl that was shocked that it was going to take a month. And you be the person standing by her, your adult self, your present self. You go and you hold yourself in that past.
Well, also, when my mom had the shock treatments, my father became abusive and kind of took it out on me.
Okay, so bring those two parts of you into this healing right now, and you breathe and you love that part of you. You be the adult that you needed that wasn't there. Breathe. Bring the love. How are you doing, Susie?
I'm doing a little bit better.
Good.
My body's shaking.
That's beautiful. That's what it needs to do. So I'm going to share, I don't know if you know of a man named Peter Levine. He wrote a book calling Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma.
I've seen that. I don't have it.
I'm going to highly recommend you get that. This book was my saving grace. It was my Bible. If I had not found it at the time of my life that I found it, I wouldn't have been able to heal the traumas that I was able to heal and now be here and do what I do. So I highly recommend getting that book, and he has a workbook with a CD, DVD. So what he was curious about was, why do animals who experience stress in the wild, constant life-threatening stress, how is it that they appear like nothing's ever bad has ever happened to them? They just go on with their life. And so in observing nature, like say observing a herd of elk, right, being hunted down by a lion. So, or tiger, I guess elks are here in North America, so it would be a cougar, right? So the whole herd goes into this fight or flight, and they're running and trying to save their life. So their bodies are coursing with adrenaline and cortisol, just like ours when we're in a moment of fight or flight or threat, right? And so what he observed is that once the threat was over, these animals, the elk, for example, their whole body would twitch and shake for about 15, 20 minutes after the threat was past. And then once the shaking stopped, they would resume eating their grass or doing whatever they're doing as if nothing ever happened. And so what he realized is that, yes, understanding our trauma is important. Talking about it to a certain degree is important, but really, how do we unlock the charge that's still in our nervous system? And that's what we're doing right now. This breath work opened up. It's helping to release that charge. And sometimes we get a big load of it coming out. Sometimes it's little bits at a time. But the most important thing is to breathe and help that energy move out of your nervous system. It's helping your body to heal. Because trauma doesn't know time. Our nervous system doesn't know time. Our nervous system is in the perpetual now. It doesn't have past, present, future. It's in the manava, it's in the now. And so even if a trauma happened 35 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, another lifetime ago, if that charge is in the nervous system, it is now.
Right.
So with that, I'm inviting you to show compassion and love for yourself. Anywhere you've judged yourself, oh, I should have been over this by now.
Well, another part of this is I was always so connected with nature that nature was my place to go when I was a kid. I would just go, down a few houses and up the hill and lay in the grass, and nature would heal me, earth would heal me. And so the attack happened in my neighborhood park. And so I didn't have a safe place anymore. And here in Sedona, there's no grass, there's no nature place to lay down on that's comfortable and healing. There's just the fire, the fire energy.
So you lost your safe place too. So that's an amplification. So now with that, I'm going to invite you to do some breathing and create your safe space within you. Yes. Deep breath. Because nature helped you to get to that safe space within you. That safe space within you. Nature is a catalyst to help you to get there. The environment is a catalyst to help you to get there. And what I'm inviting you to do is to tune into that space so you can access it anytime you need. No matter where you are. Yes, breathe. Everybody keep breathing with Susan. Look at this safe space like a garden. Visualize a beautiful, lush garden with your favorite flowers. Favorite little beings, butterflies, bugs, grass, trees. Visualize an inner oasis in your heart that can be your safe place. That already is a safe place, but now we're going to create a visualization so that it's easier for you to create an association to connect to it. And in that nature sanctuary, tune into that kahiloa, that eternal oneness, the love of nature that would nourish and heal you when you were a little girl, and that's still always there for you to heal you now as an adult. You call on Mother Earth, Mama Aina. Say, hey, Mama, I'm here. Please heal me. Feel that love and goodness pouring into you like you did when you were a little girl. Really, really viscerally feel it. Connect with warmth in your heart space. And you can visualize like the exercise I gave Linda before. Imagine yourself lying belly down on the earth. Your feet and hands sprawled out, your hands face down to the earth. And you say, here, Mom, Mama, Mother Earth, Mama Aina. I'm ready to let this go and let you take it from me because I know you know what to do with it better than I do. Take it from me, I give it over to you. Feel that leaving your body, being drawn into Mother Earth, who knows how to transmute. She's the eternal alchemist. Those energies. And then nourish with those transmuted forces of love, growth, healing, awareness. Feel yourself being fed by Mother Earth like you're a plant. Again, it's springtime. Let's use the spring metaphor. This is when all the earth is feeding all the life to grow and come forward. Feel that force of Mother Earth feeding you right now. Everywhere that there is emotion releasing, there's now an empty space. It's moved. Invite Mother Earth's nature, her love, God's love to fill those spaces so that your soul can reclaim its rightful residency there. Where there was fear and pain, let there be love and trust. And right now, I'm being guided to clear energies of abandonment, betrayal, forlornness, lost, and love unreceived. I'm clearing that right now. And we're healing all bodies.
What?
We're healing all bodies now, all the energetic bodies, including your physical body as well. Now we're just doing a general clearing of blocks and programs and patterns that resulted from those experiences. To open new pathways of love and light and your own soul to inhabit and guide you. How are you feeling, Susie?
Feeling better.
Yeah,
Feeling more calm.
beautiful. When you open your eyes, you might feel everything looks a little bit brighter and sharper. Okay?
Yeah, still shaking.
Yeah, that's fine. Let yourself do that.
Actually, when I do the healing work, my hand shakes into
Mhm.
people and vibrates the source energy into wherever they're blocked.
Yeah,
And I make
yeah,
the sounds into their blocked energies.
beautiful.
At least I used to be able to.
Hey, every intention of healing manifests healing. That's the law of love, law of nature, you know? So, you know, that's why no matter where we are in our path, you know, what level of healing or completion or not or whatever, when we are giving our attention to healing and the greater good, well, you can be certain that God and all these universal forces are going to ride that wave and good will happen and healing will happen. It's not about us,
Right,
right?
right.
So a beautiful teaching that I love from my Hawaiian elder. And I shared this with Kathy once on an interview we did when my book was released, is all healing is 99% entertainment and 1% God.
I thought it was the other way around. No wonder.
No, exactly. And that's why that truth is so powerful, right? Because there's no room for ego to get entangled. There's no room for our identity or our agenda to get entangled. We
Oh, right.
realize just our showing up, and that's why there's so many different techniques. Everybody resonates with a different technique, but it's entertainment, right? So, and not entertainment in a diminishing way. It's the facility we're using. It's the vehicle we're using so that that 1% of God can come through. Make sense?
Yes.
Elohei, right?
Yes.
So every technique that exists on this planet is important. It's serving as that vehicle of a format of an entertainment, you know, but meant in a loving and a beautiful way, not a diminishing way. That's how we're connecting to get that 1%, to invite that 1% of God to come through. And that's what does the healing.
Right. Right. I feel way,
Doesn't that feel freeing?
way better.
Oof. Yeah, I know. And whenever I start a healing session with somebody or with this group, I say, okay, God, help me be the best entertainer possible so that your 1% can come through.
I love that you snort when you laugh. My sister does that.
When I really laugh, I snort. It doesn't happen often, but you guys got one of my snorts. Right?
I love it.
You know, and then it's not about me performing. If I get caught in the idea that I have to perform and I have to do something, I can count that this is going to not be the best way. I'm still entertaining and I know God will still come through. But, you know, when I can let go of my agenda and my own fears, I'm a human being, you know. So I was nervous on the call. This is the first group call I've done. And I'm like, okay, God, okay. Let me be the best entertainer possible. Do some deep breaths and show up, you know, and I'm witnessing magic in the same way I witness magic in my studio when I work with people one-on-one. So this is really profound for me too, to be a part of this medium. You know, it's opening for me to look into doing this more as well.
I love that you said you witness, because that's what I tell people I am, as a witness to whatever happens through me and between them and that source. And
yes, and that's what we need. We need loving witnesses. Because often when we went through hard times, we didn't have loving witnesses.
Right.
We received judgments and ridicule and all kinds of stuff from people, right? And God bless them. They're just doing the best that they can with their capacity. We haven't been taught how to be lovingly present for each other, right? So nobody's the bad guy, really. Everybody's just doing the best they can. I mean, we're all in this place and we're not given a guide map to how to navigate duality, how to navigate our own inner dualities, our contradictions, all of these things that we're navigating, and we're supposed to appear, I'm perfect, I'm happy, I got a great life, you know, and we're supposed to appear that way to the world to be accepted. But the fact of the matter is that every one of us is, you know, doing our best to find, how do I navigate this territory, this life, and all the different layers of this life, right, in a way that I can grow my love and I can grow my trust and I can be a benefit. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Right?
I am grateful for all of you for being my safe and loving witnesses. I'm just truly grateful for all the help and love and safe space you gave me here today.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for everybody showing up. Thank you, everybody, for breathing. Thank you for those of you who stayed on for the duration of this healing. You know, I mean, I know there are some people who do, you know, lots of, you know, healing webinars, and there's lots and lots of people it's very fast turning through, right? But I'm somebody, I like to give space. I like to, you know, feel that it's complete and not just move from one person to the next just because there's a time limit. So I'm grateful for everybody here, your patience, your willingness to be a part of this. And yeah, I've grown through being with you guys this afternoon, you know, and grateful for your part in my life. And I wish you happy trails of, you know, being the adventurer of the dualities and the adventures of your shadows. And don't be so afraid of them anymore. You don't have to be.
Oh,
They're
thank you
there
so
with you.
much.
Great.
Thank you. Because I know that I identified with every single clearing, every single thing you did for everyone. So
Oh,
I
beautiful.
think if people experience that, if they let themselves experience it, they got a lot. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Kathy,
Yes.
Kathy, I want to thank you, Kathy, for being my friend for all of these years and sticking with me through all of this time.
Oh, I love you, Susie. You know.
And for allowing me to be a part of this healing today. Thank you so
Of course. We need you. Susie has healed people of cancer with her voice.
Mm,
She's
beautiful.
a master. So
Beautiful.
we want her back on the bus.
Yeah, and really, you know, the body is a feedback system, and it's saying, okay, this is ready for healing now. That's really all it's saying. It's just saying, okay, this is ready for healing now.
Right, right.
Right. And
Well,
here we go. The momentum has started.
I'm sorry, I am gonna need to wrap up. We and Luannah, this has been amazing. You've been doing this for almost 3 hours. So
Wow.
you get the record so far.
Okay, it feels like we just started. Oh, I've got energy.
I know. You could probably keep going, but we probably need to stop. And hopefully, everyone, if you, I've got your information, so Luannah can have it on her email list. And please, if you want more work, you can look at the ideal place that she lives by the water and the frequencies that she brings through. You can see this could really shorten your path to wholeness.
She needs to come down and visit my Christmas tree farm.
Oh, sounds good.
We're not that far away from each other.
Oh, where are you?
In Oregon, near Portland.
Oh, yeah, that's not that far. Yeah,
No.
Oregon's a nice. Yeah, it's just a few hours drive. It's not far at all. Yeah,
You
would
missed
love
his
to.
birthday party, though. You have to get cupcakes, Bill.
Health
Okay.
food cupcakes. Okay.
Oh yeah, of course, vegan.
And I might know you from Portland because I lived there till I moved here.
Really?
Yeah.
He was living in the mountains in Dillon before, but he grew up in Portland.
Ah, I left in 2006.
No, I was up in the Rocky Mountains by that time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well, thank you all. Thank you. And please let us know what results you achieved from all of this. I'm hoping that everyone really got a huge shift. How do you feel, Linda? Good? You look different.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling calmer, like things are settling down.
Good.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'd love to hear how you guys are feeling too. So please shoot me an email or let me know.
Okay.
I'd like to
I
know how
will.
you guys are. Yeah.
I thank you so much again.
Oh,
Amazing.
Thank you.
Bye,
okay. God
Kathleen.
bless.
Kathleen and Kath, next time we'll get you. Sorry.
All right.
Wrong time.
Bye.
Thanks,
Here in a
Kath.
few minutes.
Thank you
Okay,
all.
bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.